A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce is a landmark modernist novel published in 1916. It tells the story of Stephen Dedalus, a fictionalized version of Joyce himself, as he grows from a young boy into a self-aware artist. Set in late 19th century and early 20th century Ireland, the novel explores themes of identity, religion, nationalism, and the quest for artistic freedom. The narrative employs a stream of consciousness style, reflecting Stephen's evolving thoughts and perceptions. The novel begins with Stephen's childhood, highlighting his experiences with family, school, and religion. As he matures, he becomes increasingly disillusioned with the strictures of Catholicism and the expectations of Irish society. Ultimately, Stephen chooses to leave Ireland to pursue his artistic ambitions, symbolizing his break from traditional constraints. The novel traces the intellectual and spiritual growth of Stephen Dedalus, a young man navigating the complexities of identity, faith, and artistic ambition in late 19th century Ireland. The story is semi-autobiographical, drawing heavily from Joyce's own life experiences. Through 5 chapters, the novel chronicles Stephen's journey from childhood to his decision to embrace a life as an artist. The novel begins with Stephen's early childhood, presented in a fragmented, stream of consciousness style that mirrors the thoughts and perceptions of a young child. Stephen grows up in a middle-class Irish Catholic family. His father, Simon Dedalus, is charismatic but financially irresponsible, while his mother, Mary Dedalus, is deeply religious. The family's financial instability and strict Catholic upbringing shape much of Stephen's early experiences. Stephen's early education takes place at Clongoweswood College, a Jesuit boarding school. There, he encounters the rigid discipline of the Catholic Church and begins to grapple with questions of authority and morality. He suffers humiliation when a teacher unfairly punishes him, but gains confidence when he successfully appeals to the rector for justice. This incident marks an early assertion of his individuality. As Stephen grows older, his family's financial troubles worsen, forcing them to move to Dublin. He transfers to Belvedere College, another Jesuit school, where he excels academically and begins to cultivate his literary talents. However, Stephen also becomes increasingly aware of the tensions between his religious upbringing and his burgeoning desires. He struggles with guilt over his sexual awakenings, particularly after visiting prostitutes, which leads to intense feelings of sinfulness and shame. In an attempt to atone for his perceived sins, Stephen undergoes a period of religious fervor. After attending a powerful sermon on hell and damnation during a retreat, he becomes obsessed with confession and penance. He adopts an ascetic lifestyle, attending daily mass and meticulously avoiding temptation. His devotion is so intense that the priests at his school suggest he consider joining the clergy. However, Stephen ultimately rejects this path, recognizing that it would stifle his individuality and artistic aspirations. Stephen's decision to turn away from religion coincides with his growing interest in art and beauty. He begins to see himself as an artist, someone who must forge his path and embrace his unique vision. This realization crystallizes during a pivotal moment on the beach, where he observes a young woman wading in the water. To Stephen, she embodies an ideal of beauty and freedom, inspiring him to dedicate himself to a life of artistic creation. As Stephen enters university, he becomes increasingly alienated from his family, friends, and Irish society. He engages in philosophical discussions with his peers, particularly about aesthetics, identity, and the role of the artist. Stephen articulates his belief that an artist must remain detached from societal and religious constraints to achieve true creative freedom. This belief is encapsulated in his declaration that he will forge in the smithy of his soul the uncreated conscience of his race. Throughout the novel, Stephen's relationship with his family deteriorates, particularly with his father, whose financial irresponsibility and nostalgic longing for the past frustrate Stephen. His mother's unwavering Catholic faith also creates tension as Stephen's rejection of religion deepens. Despite these challenges, Stephen remains resolute in his commitment to his artistic vision. The novel concludes with Stephen's decision to leave Ireland and his family behind to pursue his artistic ambitions abroad. He recognizes that staying in Ireland would mean conforming to the expectations of a society that values tradition and conformity over individual expression. In his diary entries, which close the novel, Stephen reflects on his journey and affirms his determination to live as an artist. He embraces the idea of exile as a necessary sacrifice for his creative freedom. A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man is a rich exploration of the tension between individuality and societal expectations. Through Stephen's struggles with faith, family, and identity, Joyce examines the challenges of self-discovery and the pursuit of artistic freedom. The novel's innovative narrative techniques, including its use of stream of consciousness and its focus on psychological depth, make it a cornerstone of modernist literature.